Hello everyone and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance that has been heavily requested, and I apologize for not getting to it earlier. It was actually released last year, July of 2013. It is none other than Paco Rabanne's Invictus. Now, here is the one of the samples that I actually went off the review on. I've got actually a couple of these samples that I went through, and I needed them for a lot of the review to actually go in. But this is what the actual bottle and the advertisement looks like. So the whole theme that they went with was a kind of like a sports conquering type of a theme for this particular fragrance. Now, right off the bat, I can tell you that it's a little bit more expensive on this run. It's going to run you two different sizes, 50 milliliter and 100 milliliter. They're going to run you $86 for the 50 milliliter and $100 even for the 100 milliliter. Now, obviously, shop around, see if you can get a better deal, but those are like the base prices that you're going to pay for this fragrance. Now, again, the fragrance was released in July of 2013. There's a couple different parfumés of it. One of the most notable, Olivier Pogue, who has, put his insight and nose into this fragrance. So with that, let's go straight into the actual notes for the fragrance. Notes consist of, at our top, we have grapefruit, sea notes, and mandarin. For our mid, we have bay leaf and jasmine. And for our base, we have gaiac wood, oak moss, ambergris, and patchouli. Alright, so this one, right off the bat, when I first smelled this reminds me heavily of 1 Million. Heavily of 1 Million, but it's a different kind of a take to it. So the sea notes and the lemon and the grapefruit, the mandarin and the grapefruit at least, they really combine to have this citrusy type of a smell to it. And at first glance, when you look at this fragrance, and when I looked at the notes, I thought maybe this is a lighter version, but don't be fooled by that. It's not a lighter version at all. This is, as far as projection and the cloyingness goes, this is very similar to Paco Rabanne's 1 Million. And for anyone who likes Paco Rabanne's 1 Million, you're probably going to like Invictus. They're both along the same type of a range to it. Whereas Invictus, on the other hand, the sea notes are very prominent. The citrus comes in very prominent as well too. But it also has this cloying over, I guess you could say, sweet, bubblegummy type of a vibe. The same bubblegummy type of a vibe that I get from 1 Million is what I get from Invictus. And that's why I really feel that both of these fragrances are very similar in that manner. So that's really where I got it from. Now, the ambergris that is supposedly in this fragrance, I really don't get the ambergris, and it might be just a little bottom note that is through it. I do get patchouli in this fragrance, though. The patchouli, and it gives a little bit of wood that comes through it through the bottom, but the fragrance overall is pretty linear throughout the fragrance. After you get past the first 5 or 10 minutes, after you get past that sweetness, it goes into a, I guess you could say, kind of like a, I don't want to say sickly sweet, but over a little bit more on the sweeter side, and with woods in the background and sea notes in the background. So it almost kind of wants to give you the impression that it's a summer fragrance, and it may very well be a summer-y-ish type of a fragrance, but this has got a lot of power to it as well. It's a very powerful fragrance. If you spray on too much, you're going to choke people out. Simple as that. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, spray-wise, I go about 2 sprays. 2 sprays, to me, is even on the more heavy side a little bit for it, because the sprayer, from what I've seen, is actually it's a pretty good sprayer. So I generally want to keep between 1 and 2 sprays, and if you go any more than that, I just watch it, just because you're really going to be pushing the envelope in terms of getting under people's skin for it. As far as the season goes, I go for this one in the fall and the winter. It's just a little bit too heavy for me in the summer months. I know this was released in July, but I really don't think, at least for my personal preference, that it would be good for the summer months. And I just found it a little bit too heavy for the summer months for my taste. But as always, feel free to wear it whenever the heck you want. As far as the occasion goes, I think this is another perfect night out fragrance. A fragrance that you can wear on a night out on the town. I wouldn't really wear it to dinner, just because the smell might interfere with your food, as strange as that sounds. But I do think it's a good fragrance to wear, going out to the club, going out to the bar, stuff like that. It's going to have enough staying power, enough power to kind of cut through those scents and go out. So it's almost like right beside 1 million. They're buddies in this. They're both along the same lines, and I really feel that they both are used for the same occasion. Now, I would suggest that somebody who has 1 million get this if they want to kind of vary things up, but if they're not necessarily looking to be more varied in terms of where they're going to wear it, it's going to be the same time. You're just going to be wearing something different a little bit times. Now, as far as compliments goes, this is a pretty decent compliment getter. Going out, and having people smell it, this actually got a good amount of compliments, and the couple times that I actually did wear it, it did get compliments. So I'm not gonna, lie to you and say that it's not a compliment getter, because it is kind of a compliment getter, at least in my usage for it. That said, I do see what people are saying that when they say that it's a synthetic mess, and I kind of get that, because even when spraying a little bit too much, this will quickly give you a headache. There really are, this is one argument that I really don't like jumping into, and that's, is it natural? Is it synthetic? I don't really care, but I get what they're saying when they complain about the syntheticness of this, because it is along the lines of, being a little bit too synthetic for my taste. I hate saying that word. Crucify me if you want. I'm not sure. Age group wise, I say this is a great fragrance, high school and up. Go ahead, feel free and wear it. Though I might say that it might be a little bit too childish for somebody who's in the older age group. You might be trying to... It would remind me of an older person who is, I guess you could say, trying to, come off as a 20-year-old, like a 50-year-old guy trying to come off as a 20-year-old. That's kind of the impression I get from this. Now, with all fragrances, I take them out to Times Square. I have 100 different people smell it. Just a quick smell by, how you liked it, you not. And there were 64 people who liked it. They said that it was great. They said that it was sweet. They said that it was playful. There were 32 people who disliked it. They said that it was loud, annoying, and too strong. And there were 4 people who were neutral in the neutral range. So if I'm going to go ahead and give this fragrance a rating, I give this fragrance a rating of a 7 out of 10. I give it a 7 out of 10 because it's still, I'd say, it's a pretty good fragrance, but it's not going to be the best that you're going to get. I still think there are much better fragrances that you can get for the club, but that's not to take away from this fragrance because it is a good fragrance. Now, it also loses a little bit of points because it still is very much like 1 million. This is just 1 million redone. If they did something like, say, 1 million Sport, this would be it. Invictus would be 1 million Sport. And, I get why they wouldn't want to do it. They give their own little branding to it, but it still kind of holds that same realm to it. If this was a flanker of 1 million, again, I would not be surprised, and that's kind of what I get from this fragrance. That said, if you're looking for a clubbing fragrance, if you're looking for a fragrance for a night out, looking to smell pretty good, and it does smell pretty original for what it's worth, go ahead, give this one a try. People will definitely think that you smell good, and if not, I just say be easy on the trigger a little bit. That's another thing you have to be aware of. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free, send me a message, leave me a note down below. Thank you, take care of yourselves, and have a great day.